lion dance is not acceptable, was not acceptable. In fact, to get a permit for lion dance, you had to go through 4 or 5 departments, and you cannot even have lion dance anywhere you like, right? Education, it was only public universities, and yet today you have true multiculturalism expressed in official performance, okay, where it's really encapsulated by the slogan of Malaysia, truly Asia, right? Education, higher education. Look at the number of private universities and colleges. Yeah, they are now numbering in the hundreds. Okay. So in that sense, we have advanced in terms of integrating and accepting culturally, educationally, right? There's a greater sense of confidence and comfort, right? And also collaboration. But yet, like every human being, every human relationship, as we move closer and closer together, there are some inner cores, okay? That when the boundaries start to move into each other, for example, because of increasing intermarriages, right? Then the issue of conversion and custody of children came into sharper focus. All it took were just a few irresponsible parents, abusing their rights, parental rights, to create a havoc and to create some inter-religious friction in terms of differences of opinion. Okay? So, but what I see is that this is because we have becoming more and more integrated. We are moving closer together, right? And then we have more or less, we have felt comfortable with respect to culture, religion, culture, education, and even language. So, in other words, I don't see that as greater disunity. Although definitely it has created higher anxiety and a sense of there's definitely, when you start arguing about religion, about this, people feel uncomfortable, okay, and they tend to take polar positions, okay, and not easy to get the more inclusive zone to be enlarged, okay. But this is a process I feel we have to go through. Can be painful, right? But we still have to go through. We still have to, through a process of exchange of views and, getting to know one another's positions and feelings, we will have to eventually sort it out, right? Remembering and referring to our basic tenets of the Constitution and the Rukun Negara. Well, implementation. Okay, I think or you call it execution, except that execution carries another meaning, a harsher meaning, right? But implementation, how do you get it done? Okay, but I think we have actually come a long way within the last almost 1 year. Okay. And I would really give credit to the focus and the leadership of Datuk Sri Najib, because he has driven this personally, giving a lot of time and attention, right? Since we were appointed in April, so in May I set up the first workshop for the cabinet ministers. Then June, July, August, we have 4 cabinet workshops, in 4 months. And in every workshop, there's minimum 1 day and some 2 days. The Prime Minister himself sat from the beginning to the end, okay, and actively leading and pushing, okay. And as a result of which, there's now much greater consciousness and commitment amongst all of us, right? And then after that, of course, then we decided that we have to do more, because the implementation is the great challenge, okay? And it took us 2 months to convince Idris Jalla to come on board. 2 months, because he was so reluctant to move into a more complex organization called the government, okay, after having succeeded in Mars, right? So, and when he came on board, then that's where a lot of implementation work, through the concept of using the concept of labs, of how to get people together to really go down to the details of implementation, then started in October, right? But that is only the beginning, right? When you're talking about the 6 NKRAs, right? Then we have to do it for the 29 ministries, right? And the 700 over agencies, okay? And it has to roll out, you see? So for those corporate people who have gone through this exercise of the KPI, I think they were impressed by how much we have done, because they found that it's not an easy exercise. But what is encouraging is that, from the labs that we have held, the 8 labs that we held in October, November, involving 240 over government officers, okay? They are those who are in their middle and younger age. So now we are actually extending, this concept of lab to many other issues. For example, we have a lab on the GST, we have a lab on the subsidy, we have a lab on this, on that, So we are using this methodology to actually educe, to educe the best from the civil servants, as well as from the business community who are invited to join us, or from even the NGOs. So we're seeing some real transformation happening, okay? Except that we have to duplicate it, and to really promote it.
What's the resistance?
Well, resistance is definitely there's inertia in anything, right? And one of it is that you need to do more work. Number one. Number two, things are becoming much more transparent than before, more accountable, okay? But for those officers who have been very good officers, very responsible, right, and they want to do real work, they welcome it, okay? They welcome this because they find that they are doing something very meaningful. Of course, for those who have not been, they might then find this additional work and may still try to, get away from it. But we have a system to say, hey, you better work. Everybody is being judged. Okay. So I would say that this GTP is really getting impact, But the real results will only come in, after another year or two.